This company just allegedly stole more than $100 million in a massive crypto Ponzi scheme, and nobody's really talking about it. Now, first of all, I want to make it clear that these are just my opinions. I'm not looking to be sued by anyone. This is just all based on my opinions. That's based on information that I got from people who invested and lost all of their money. Not making any accusations, just so that's clear. So please don't sue me. Last year, a company known as TradeAI was formed behind the mastermind known as Guillermo, otherwise mostly referred to as G. Now, TradeAI had a hugely compelling offer. If you were holding any of their NFTs or NFTs from the projects that they were partnering with, you would be allowed to use their cutting edge trading bot, which was supposed to use AI to trade and would give you insane returns in very little time. In the beginning, investors would be getting anywhere between 10 and 15% after waiting about 30 days. Insane. However, things only started getting crazier. Slowly, these profits would only increase, going up to 40 to 50% in 10 days, then 5 days, and then finally 50% in 2 days. Meaning if you invested $10,000, after 2 days, you'd take out $15,000. At this point, people were extremely skeptical. However, people saw money rolling in. Every week, people would be doubling, tripling, quadrupling their money. And from someone that was watching from the sideline, it really looked like it was too good to be true. And it was. Last year, all of a sudden, there was no way to pull your money back out of the website that you had used to deposit it in. At this point, people already started asking questions. However, G reassured everybody saying that the money was there. It had just been stuck in Binance, which is what they were using in order to trade. However, after several promises to pay out and failing to do so, people eventually assumed that the money was gone. Enter Paddy, aka Peter McGinnis. Paddy's most known trait was that he owned several Banksies, many $1 million worth of Banksies, and was somehow hired in order to sort the situation out with G and all of the money that was owned, which at this point was already looking at about $170 million owed to investors. Paddy then went to the headquarters of TradeAI, which was based in Costa Rica, and had two main missions: to ensure the safety of G, because he was getting hundreds of death threats from angry investors, and two, to make sure everybody got their money back. I should also mention that at this point we've got another character, Jim, who came in with Paddy, also with the intent to get the money back to the investors. Jim had a background in mergers and acquisitions. Paddy arrived in Costa Rica, and when Paddy asked G what he wanted to do, G had reportedly said, "I want to pay the money back," or "I want to pay people back," something along those lines. At this point, it's also important to know that Paddy was building his own community known as the UA3, which was based around artwork, sort of like Banksy art. He wanted to have a few mints and whatnot, build a little community. And at this point, the story takes a very surprising turn, as Paddy, who was supposed to be helping out G, paying back all of the money, all the $170 million that he owed to investors, they ended up merging. They ended up making a joint company known as Stakx. And so TradeAI was a thing of the past. Now, it was just Stakx, which included UA3 and formerly known TradeAI. At this point, a lot of people who assumed the money was gone started getting a little bit of hope back. You could kind of tell that the communities were slowly starting to believe that Paddy somehow was going to have G return all the money, all of these 170 million, and also that it was there at all, that it wasn't just lost in some sort of over-leveraged trade. They set up a payment plan which was supposed to pay all the money within 90 days, with the possibility to extend for another 30 days, so 120 days in total. And at that point, they said all the money would be paid back. And also, I should mention that Paddy did confirm that the money was there as well, as a third party to check up with G to make sure that G wasn't just lying. They also claimed that one of the reasons why the money hadn't been paid out yet, all of these millions, was because of some sort of high-risk wallets and that they couldn't be paid out. And because of this, they asked people to upload their ID, provide it to them so that they could avoid all these anti-money laundering risks that they were talking about. At this point, people were told that they were going to be paid within 120 days. Not so many people were happy. However, it was a shift in sentiment where there was at least some hope, and people thought that they would be paid back once again. Around this time, Stakx, as in UA3 and TradeAI as it was known as before, started a new trading fund known as the syndicates. These sort of trading funds were a lot less lucrative than the formerly known TradeAI, and so people had a lot more trust in them. And one of the most compelling arguments was that Paddy said that they would be asset backed by his Banksies. So if something should go wrong with the trading or basically with anything, he would sell one or two of his Banksies and he would pay the investors out with that money. So people thought that it was, safe. So a lot of people put money that they couldn't really lose and might have overinvested at that point, obviously because they had a certain trust in Paddy. Now it's important to know that although these returns were way lower than in the old days with TradeAI, it was still insanely lucrative in that you could get 10% returns in a week or in 10 days, which is insane. However, compared to TradeAI, people saw this as something that was more safe somehow and really invested. At some point, there were about 18 million that was invested across all of these different syndicates in the different communities. With this merger, Paddy and his whole family moved from Dubai, where he was from, to Costa Rica in order to set this huge project up along with Stakx, along with his genius trader that was G. At this point, Paddy kept releasing new collections, new NFT collections, raising millions of dollars. And at some point, people were paying up to $14,000 just to get their hands on one of his NFTs, just so they could get access to this exclusive syndicate. Again, as alleged Ponzi schemes often do, delays started happening until finally one last deposit happened in January, which is yet to be returned. Obviously, people started asking questions in the Discord, wondering what the hell was up. Most people who asked questions that were too critical, they would just be banned. Another huge red flag. They kept blaming Binance for these issues. At some point, they were saying that they were just their trades were just too good. They were just making too much money, too much was flowing, and Binance was like, something illegal must be going on. And allegedly, I guess they were right. At the same time, G was developing his golden product, Level Up. Level Up was supposed to be a copy trading bot where you could just take his API, use your own Binance account, put money in it, and then just copy trade whatever he was doing. All of the worries that people had of this being a Ponzi scheme was like, well, you can see the trades happening in real time. So obviously he is a trader and he must be very skilled if he's got ambition of doing all of this in real time where people can see it. And this time not holding their money, but just having it in your own Binance account. However, it also allowed you to send money to him and have him trade it directly. And unfortunately, several people did. And it turns out that this allegedly was just one last push to get people's money. Two weeks ago, on April 4th, G announced that the 100 million was gone, along with all of the money that was invested in syndicates, in the NFTs that were created by UA3. And the situation now is that no one really admits to know where the money is. It's been several days since anybody's seen G. We don't really know exactly who was part of this scheme. However, it is clear that it was a Ponzi scheme, which is something that G could confirm at this point. However, G has not been seen or heard for several days now, so don't know where he is. Right now, Jim, who was working very closely with G, now does admit that G was guilty and also called him a virus, clearly indicating that he did not take part of it. Now, G has also been reported asking people for more money and more loans, which he's been doing for the past months as well, and he has not paid back any of those loans as well. Now, the aftermath of this is that people have lost anywhere between 500 and hundreds of thousands of dollars, going up to millions. And this is people who generally trusted G, who was clearly a very, very charismatic, convincing sociopath, and also trusted Paddy, who did confirm that the money was there and that money was being traded and was rolling in. Clearly, what it seems right now is that money was never traded and that all of the money that people were pulling out was just new investments being made, just classic Bernie Madoff style. It's obvious that they were just pretending to have this sort of AI trading bot that was doing all these crazy trades with leverage, guaranteeing you these crazy yields with like a proper website, and just basically making a whole facade of this well-functioning hedge fund. Clearly G had some sort of like charismatic gift where he could convince anybody that he was just this insanely good trader. Even the people that came to visit them down in Costa Rica, because they literally had people. They had people from this community or other communities come down there just to make sure that this was a legit operation. And at least for a while, people who did visit them didn't really say anything negative about it. They didn't really indicate that this was just all a complete farce. But at this point, nobody really knows how many people were involved, so I guess that makes sense. G continuously kept convincing people that he wanted to pay people back, and he's done this for over 8 months now. Every time there were news of delays or anything like that, he kept convincing people that he was a good guy, something bad had happened to him, he was unlucky, and he wanted to do good and help people. And by doing this again and again, he convinced more investors to get more money out of them, and now he's gone. As of right now, I don't think anybody's been arrested. I don't even know if people know which country G is in right now. Clearly, people are not getting their money back. And in the end, more than 100 million is just now apparently lost. In my opinion, it's clear that it's not lost. In my opinion, that is just stolen and he took the money and left. But that's just my opinion. Don't sue me. And that's how he did it. Hopefully he faces justice at some point. Needless to say, investors are absolutely crushed. People have lost so much money, time, mental strain, and now it's clear that the money is gone and people will just have to cut their losses. I've seen several people who invested life savings, and although obviously probably shouldn't do that at some sort of crypto hedge fund, but still it's absolutely horrible what's been happening now to all of these investors, and honestly quite heartbreaking to see all the damage that this one man has done along with whoever else is in on the scheme. And that's all I've got for now. If there's any interest to know more about this, I will be happy to go more in depth, and also I will be going through all of the updates, because obviously this is happening right now. If there's any updates on arrests or sort of more admissions or more evidence, then I will be happy to go over that again, because I think it is important that some light is shed on this as well, because of how much damage that was done to so many investors. And that's it. If you liked the video, please feel to subscribe. I might do more videos like this as well in the future, just going over stuff that's happening. I thought for this one it was particularly important because I've been seeing this unfold throughout these months, and I've got several friends who did invest, unfortunately, in this scheme. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching.